What's happening, everyone? I'm so excited to be here. I celebrated a really cool milestone this week of 4 years in therapy, which is pretty cool. Yeah, give it up for mental health. Isn't that great? Is anybody else who's in therapy, you have that thing where you want to get a second therapist? So you can talk about how much you want to sleep with your first therapist? Is that just me? I'll figure it out. I'll get her. You need the therapy, though. Therapy is very helpful. I feel like it helps you find the good and the bad of everything. Like, my hair's falling out, but my forehead's still growing. That's pretty nice. That's not a bad thing. I found out something interesting about my therapist the other day. She doesn't go to therapy. She's in charge of my brain, but she doesn't get hers looked at. It's a little concerning. I feel like that would be like if you went out to eat at a restaurant and you asked the server, "What's your favorite dish?" And they were like, "Oh, fuck, I would never eat here." No. I recently started with a new therapist. I had to switch insurance, and I don't think women go through this as much. I've only had female therapists, and every single first session, they always go, "Now, we need to just state this. This is a professional doctor-patient relationship. Under no circumstances can we ever be intimate." And I'm always like, I don't know what's on your mind, but that's the third thing on mine. So maybe we could get to up here. I started with this new therapist. I already feel like I need to get another new therapist because I was talking to her the other day about this situation that's really making me sad, and I swear to God, she pulled out a feelings wheel. And she was like, "Oh, you're feeling sad? Why don't we go through the other feelings that are related to that you feel?" And I was like, I gotta be honest, feelings wheel is kind of making me feel like a kid. And she goes, "Oh, you feel like a kid? How does that make you feel?" And I was like, "It's starting to make me feel like you're a big stinky butthead, if I can be honest." I don't like this at all. You know what I wish people who took cold showers every day realized? Nobody cares. You can stop telling us. All right? I have a buddy who says, "I take a cold shower every morning because if I can get through that, nothing else I face the rest of the day can be that bad." And I'm just like, boy, you must have the easiest life if the hardest thing you go through is a cold shower by choice. When are you supposed to receive the dividends of that? I don't understand. You show up home from work, the police have taped off your house. They're like, "Sir, I'm sorry to tell you, your entire family's been murdered." Boy, am I glad I took that cold shower. It's not so bad. I need to preface this next joke by letting you all know I love dogs. I'm in love with every dog I meet. They're my favorite creature on earth. That's why it has pained me to come to the realization that we need to put a pause on dog adoption for a few years. I don't think we're ready. The pandemic proved that to me. Pre-pandemic, I would go over to friends' houses, have a few beers, catch a game, watch a movie. Post-pandemic, I now go to a friend's house and immediately go to battle with a wild animal. I walk through the door, it starts mauling me, and my friend is always like, "No, he just needs to sniff you. And I'm like, "Well, he's biting my wrist, so maybe you could tell him no for the first time in your life." Wouldn't that be a concept? I have a dog, and yes, I adopted him because you have to. It's the world we live in. You can no longer get the dog you want. You have to get the dog they have. That's where we're at. My dog, too, he has one eye, and he is blind in that one eye. So he might as well have no eyes, if you think about it. I took him to the vet a couple weeks ago, and the vet was examining him, and she got to his eye, and she goes, "Oh, I see he's all cataract out." And I was like, "Yeah, he can't see a thing." And she goes, "You know, there's actually an animal hospital in LA that can remove his cataracts and return his eyesight." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. About how much does something like that cost?" She goes, "Oh, it's just a couple $1,000s. It's like $2,000. I wear glasses. I'm not even going to pay to fix my own eyes. You think I'm going to pay to fix some dog's dumb one eye? What does he have to see? All the walls he's been bumping into for the past 10 years? It's a hard pass. I went out for some drinks last night with a buddy of mine, and a few drinks in, he goes, "Hey, Bill, your top 5, go." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your top 5 women, let me hear it." I And I was like, I don't have a top 5 women. And he goes, what are you, gay? And I was like, no, I'm straight, but I'm also not in 8th grade. I don't sit around ranking women in my free time, let alone women I'm never going to meet. When is that list supposed to come in handy? I finally meet Terry Hatcher, and I'm like, no way, you're my number 3. She'll be like, what? I'll be like, I made it in 8th grade, Terry. You wouldn't understand. But that is the sexual ego of the man, is it not? We always think there's a chance, you know? Are there any guys in here? A couple of you? Fellas, when you were a little kid and you were alone with another friend's mom, were you ever like, we're fucking? 100% it's going down. Sure, she's a successful doctor, married to a successful lawyer with 3 kids of her own. She could not resist this 4th grade boy. How could she? But we have so much being thrown at us growing up, you know, that I think affects us. Like, did anybody's dad here have porn in the closet growing up? Hell yeah. We gotta share some dad stories after this. I don't know what that means, sorry. My dad, behind the ties in his closet, he had 3 VHSs of some of the best softcore porn you could get your hands on. And I started watching these videos when I was in 5th grade. I didn't even know the word masturbation, let alone what it was. And I would watch these videos with the biggest boner and be like, it doesn't get any better than this. I can't think of one thing to add to the equation that would make this better. But eventually in 7th grade, I figured it out. He knows. Now, I remember the first day after touching myself to great success and going to school. I remember sitting in class and being so arrogant and cocky. I was sitting around looking at everybody being like, I had sex last night. None of these virgin losers did. I also remember wanting to maybe be a father one day, but thinking I could run out of sperm. So I was like, all right, Dylan, this is just an every now and then thing. You can't be doing this all the time, my guy. I did get caught looking at porn one time in 5th grade. Well, it wasn't porn. I found a horribly nude photoshopped picture of Britney Spears on the family computer when I was home alone. And I hit print, but nothing came out because it was the 90s, printers didn't work yet. And so I waited for an hour and nothing came out. And then so I rode my bike over to my buddy's house. I'm there for 20 minutes and his house phone rings. He picks it up and then he hands it to me and goes, it's your mom. And I was like, I go, hey mom. And she goes, come home right now. And I was like, I just got here. She's like, you need to come home right now. So I go back home. She pulls me into her room and she holds up the nude photo of Britney Spears and she goes, what's this? To which I said, nothing. Great defense. Very solid. She goes, no, seriously, what is this? And I went, it's Ashley's, who's my sister. And she goes, Ashley wouldn't do this. And she punished me and sent me away. 10 years later, my sister comes out of the closet as a lesbian. Nice. So all I'm saying is my case still stands, and my mom owes me 2 weeks AOL. Hey, you guys have been so much fun. Thank you so much.